Hi, this is Billy. I don't really have time to make polished videos. So I'm doing this on the swing of things on my way to work this morning. I was listening to a video and it's talking about where the men we need. Well, if we're talking about trades, let's talk about some of the problems about getting into a trade. And for giggles, I looked on some of the popular job searching websites, HVAC technician helper, electrician helper, carpenter helper. Almost everything I found, with a minority of exception, is they want skill. You gotta have some knowledge before you can even start. Right? I found very few, next to no jobs that was willing to hire people without any background in whatever trade it was. Found a bunch of laborer jobs, but none of them were very, very well worded, right? They were all, run a shovel, right? You're not really trying to grab people's attention, So how do you get into the trade if you ain't got nothing? Trade's a great way to go, right? Sometimes you need schooling. If you're going to be an electrician, I think you should take those night classes because you can keep yourself from dying. But, to each his their own. Ain't nothing to take 2 nights a week, man. 2 nights a week for a year to learn you something while you're doing the trade. Not before, but while you're in it. Go a long way. It gets you a lot more money. It'll help you in the long run. But if trades is supposed to be a good option, how do you get those jobs? Who's talking about getting those jobs? Who's talking about finding them things? Who's teaching these employers, that most of them are just like us, knuckle draggers that pulled their way up? How do you teach them to write job ads that are going to grab people's like, oh, maybe that could do? Like my current job. So I'm a maintenance man. I do facility maintenance. My current job, I looked at that thing for a month before I applied to it, right? Because the way it was worded and some of the qualifications that they were saying they wanted, right, I felt like I was unqualified. And one day I just said, you know what, I'll apply to it anyway and, see how it goes. Well, I damn near got hired on the spot. To them, I was overly qualified in some areas, which made up for some of the places I wasn't qualified in. As a maintenance man, you got to be able to know everything. Not be great at everything, but you got to have a basic understanding, knowledge of electrical, HVAC, plumbing, carpentry, painting. The list goes on, right? Depending on the building, if it's got boilers, so on and so forth. Maintenance can get extremely complicated. Most people don't have a full skill set to just jump right into it, but you can learn it. Something that can be trained. Guys like me, we're willing to hire people with no experience at all, right out of high school. But that's another thing. Are we writing ads right? Are we putting people, are we getting ourselves out there enough where people know that we're a good place to work for and this is a good thing to do? Yeah, schools suck. There's not a lot of resources for us knuckle draggers, for sure. Especially when you get into maintenance. Try looking up maintenance certifications and stuff that's geared towards repair, not install. As far as further education, it's a daunting task to get further education. It's out there, but you really got to look. What about those people that are struggling mentally, physically, right? Do they have the time to look? Do they even know where to look? Right? Yeah, of course, the responsibility is on the young man or woman who's, looking for a job or looking for a future, right? But the responsibility is also on us to market it. The responsibility is also on us to go find these people. You ever been in Food Line and saw somebody working, that was doing real hard work? Did you ever tell them about a job that y'all had at your company you work for? Or did you ever tell them, hey, you ever think about installing cabinets or, being an electrician or a painter? Is there anything any of y'all ever done? Because when I was worked on cars for 12 years. When I was working on cars, I hired 5 oil changers from Food Line over the years, right? Hey, man, why are you wasting your time here? I can get you $3 more an hour changing oil. You don't need to know nothing. Don't worry, I'll vouch for you. I've seen you in here, for the last 6 months. I come in here and buying groceries, and you look like a good guy. We'll see how it goes. And I built up enough credit with my employers where that kind of stuff worked, So, yes, the responsibility is on these kids and young adults that are trying to grow themselves, but the responsibility is also on us to reach out to them. Responsibility is also to us to walk into Walmart and give people good heads up. Hey, man, I see you stocking. I've been grocery shopping here for 3 years. You still stocking. You ever thought about painting? I know this company down the way, they're hiring $14 an hour for people with no experience, right? Those people aren't advertising. They ain't got the budget to advertise or the time, especially in the summertime. You know how it is. We wide open, busy as hell. We can't, we barely got enough time for family, let alone putting job application, looking for people, right? But it don't take but 2 minutes while you're walking through the store to go, hey, you ever thought about slinging wire or turning wrenches? Some of these things we need to think about. We can complain about, not being able to find the people we need. But have we ever thought about trying to create the people we need? Molding the people we need? These are just my thoughts. This road video. I don't know where it'll go. Y'all have a good night.